All right, welcome to Startup with Ferris live stream. Thank you for tuning in. What is new in the world of entrepreneurship? Testimonials and case studies. In over 20 years of entrepreneurship and marketing and selling consulting services, I found that case studies, they sit at the top of the marketing pyramid. They're the most coveted asset because they're a proof of success in action. And then powerful testimonials, they come in as a close second. See, if you're just starting out, or maybe you haven't leveraged these marketing assets yet, it is okay. It's okay to start small. But over time, the more recognizable the brand is, the more known the client or the person who's giving you a testimonial, the better the impact. So in today's session, we'll cover how to effectively collect case studies and testimonials to showcase your success, how to discover the best ways to structure these assets for maximum impact, and understand how to use them strategically to grow your business. But before we dive in, a few housekeeping items. One, whether you're watching or listening live or tuning in later, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment, email me, direct message me. I want to know about your small and big wins, or maybe struggles, or any other thoughts that you may have. And also, in these sessions, we typically cover a business topic and then answer the questions we get from the community. Now, we will be off for the next couple of weeks, but after that, we'll resume on a weekly basis, typically at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and again, go over a business topic related to entrepreneurship and how to help you start and grow your business to 7 and even 8 figures. And if you stay with us till the end of this live stream, we have a special promotion code for our Black Belt Startup coaching and training program to help you get to your destination. So let's jump right in and make sure we do a quick technology check here. We are all good. So I mentioned case studies, I mentioned testimonials. What is the difference? A case study showcases a detailed story of how your services solve a client's problem, and often there's some sort of measurable result that you demonstrate, you highlight in that case study. A testimonial, on the other hand, is a direct statement from a client expressing their satisfaction with your work, your responsiveness, the quality of the work, that you were there for them, you did an amazing work in whichever problem you solved. So I want you to use case studies to educate, to persuade, and then use testimonials to relate, to deliver relatable proof and inspire confidence. And then together, I think they help you form a powerful strategy to attract and convert leads. Now, why do leads? Why are we emphasizing case studies and testimonials? What is it in them that leads love and relate to? See, when people are in the sales process, leads, that is qualified leads, they crave validation. They want to make sure they're making the right decision. And case studies and testimonials deliver exactly that. As a matter of fact, research by Nielsen shows that 92% of consumers trust recommendations from peers or other clients over traditional advertising. So these tools, case studies, testimonials, they success stories, sometimes they're called, they address the core needs of a buyer. They showcase tangible results. They demonstrate your ability to solve challenges similar to the challenges that these leads have, and also enhance your credibility by featuring respected brands or compelling success stories. And again, as I said earlier, if you don't have big brands yet, if you're just starting out, or if you, let's say you've been at it for a while and you work with maybe small and mid-sized businesses and you don't have this very well recognized brands, that's okay. Find established businesses in the niche that you're serving and show and tell their stories. And again, we'll show you how to do it, but it's really important to highlight the stories, the success stories of of companies that that your target audience, your leads, can relate to, can recognize. And think of case studies and testimonials as a menu with pictures at a new restaurant that you haven't been to. So a lot of times when you read stuff in the menu is one thing, but when you see the picture, right? Customers, the restaurant, they sell the sizzle, not necessarily a steak, right? So when clients see what others have enjoyed and achieved, it makes their decision clearer and more appealing. So one thing to, if you haven't done any of this before, one thing to plan part of your next quarter or maybe next year is to build a diverse portfolio of proof. So uh, let's say you worked in the healthcare industry, right? And you provided consulting to health providers or maybe to insurance carriers, right? Maybe it's a small local regional company. After you're done with that project, that's the time to ask them for a testimonial. And now you have a story to tell in that vertical. Let's say you also worked in the hospitality industry. Maybe you provide billing services, consulting services around maybe marketing or maybe, I don't know, back office, IT, cybersecurity. So now you had already built a case study. You have some testimonials from folks in the healthcare industry. Now you can go to the second vertical that you operate in. Again, it could be hospitality, as I said, and get a case study, some testimonials from that sector. So if you work across different sectors, try to make it a part of your quarterly or maybe annual goal to collect case studies and testimonials from folks in these different verticals or sectors that you service. And again, if you are just starting out, focus on you haven't done any projects before, you haven't sold yet, or maybe it's been very small projects, maybe you've been freelancing for a while, but focus on, I think if you're just starting out, focus on delighting, on bending over backwards for your first clients, exceed their expectations, deliver tangible results that they're super happy with, and then you earn their respect. They like you, they'll come back to you for more business, and at the same time you can get their testimonials and case studies. And let's say you're just starting out and you haven't done any projects yet in your current company. You can also leverage success stories and things you've accomplished in previous roles. Again, there might be some considerations around how much you can share, and then maybe you can't share the name of the client. Maybe you can't share the specifics of what you've done because you did that for someone else. But if you were, let's say you developed a cybersecurity strategy for, I don't know, for insurance companies, right, or for banks, or depending on the vertical, then, and let's say that was when you were employed. Now when you're starting your business, you can still tell that story. You don't have to wait for you to do a project under the same company, because it's you are the consultant, you are the service provider, you are the expert. So you can go on your website or on social media and tell the story of what you've done in the previous role. Again, check with your anything around confidentiality and policies around how much you can share. But no one can prevent you from saying, I was the architect, I was the senior consultant who put together a cybersecurity plan, or maybe did an audit, or I was the person who put a performance review. If you're an HR consultant, I was the one. You can say I developed and trained managers on how to do performance reviews of a company of this size. So even if you are just starting out today and you don't have any projects under this new entity that you've just created, you can still tell a story about what you've done in previous roles. Now, as you have customers, as you solve problems under this new venture that you created, obviously you have opportunities to tell the stories and reuse the brands and potentially get folks, with the bigger the title, the better, on your testimonials page, so that you can show people that you've done this work. Now, there are some challenges in creating these case studies and getting those testimonials, because they are, as I said, in my mind, they sit at the top of the marketing pyramid, because it's other people saying good things about you, other people validating your claims that, hey, I'm a great consultant, I can do A, B, and C. When you have third party um, partners, suppliers, customers, in this case, telling your story, that's just the best thing that could happen to you. So because these are invaluable, they're difficult to secure. Not everybody wants to have the time or have the resources to maybe write a case study. So what I want to do in this section is to help you simplify the process. So um, for example, and I think we have a slide on this. So you can get feedback from the client. If you, for example, you implemented let's just use the IT consulting example. Let's say you've implemented the cybersecurity uh, audit for them and identified some serious holes in their maybe IT infrastructure, right? So, or maybe you've helped them run some automation in terms of spanning, in terms of um, checking the quality and the security of their network. So let's say it used to take them 3 hours to do this, and there's a lot of manual steps in it. And now you came in and you implemented some software and you added some process, and this audit now can be done automatically in 30 minutes. So you can and the client gave you that feedback that you saved them time. It used to take them 3 hours, now it takes them 30 minutes. So that's something you don't have to come up and come up with a new story, or just get the input from the client on on the benefits that you've added to their business, right? So the other thing is, you're not running a book, in the maybe a one pager, maximum 2 pages, I think, is sufficient for a case study, unless in it's something very, very highly specialized. Maybe you can have some, maybe like a white paper or something in more detail. But for a case study, it's a marketing asset. You have to have some punchy headlines. You want to show, again, numbers. You want to focus on something like increasing efficiency by, you can do the math from 3 hours to to 3 minutes, right? You can, maybe if you are a marketing consultant and you do Google ads or meta ads, you came in and help them get the same amount of leads with half the budget, right? So you basically save them 50%, or whatever the case might be. I think showing, when you focus on the essentials, like the what impacted the bottom line, or as close as possible to impacting the bottom line in a good way, that's what you want to. Those are the essentials. So percentage growth, specific outcomes, double the amount of leads, in 60 days. That would be 25% savings in cost. That would be something very, very concrete, and that people, like, who wouldn't want to have the same amount of leads for half the cost, right? So that's focus on, really, on business, on essentials, on things that every other business want to have. Also, another thing to keep it in mind, because this might be a concern from the companies who are helping you uh, produce these case studies: respect privacy. If some clients are okay with you sharing their logo, others, they prefer anonymity. So you can use descriptions like a leading healthcare provider, or top 5x, or so you can keep it, you can give a sense of what the vertical is, or maybe the size of the business, but you can keep it anonymous if that's the preference of the customer. And also, another thing to look at here is um, work around policy. So some companies may not allow public endorsements. So in this case, you go to the tip that I just mentioned earlier. You use non-branded testimonials, or maybe use something that is, it sort of give a hint of the industry the customer is in. If you say hospitality, if you say in the financial sector, you can say something in the insurance sector. That's all fine. Ideally, you want to get a brand, and you want to get the highest, maybe a C level to give you a quote. It gives you more credibility. But if you can't do that because the company's policies don't allow for public endorsements, then you just maybe use, like I said, the general sort of the anonymous way, or you use a non-branded title for for that testimony, for that case study. The other thing is, in some companies, there'll be a bunch of approvals needed from the business person you're working with. Then they have maybe to go, especially if it's a mid-sized company, a larger company, they have to go and get potentially the approval of their marketing department, and then the legal department, and then maybe the CFO might come in and say, hey, we're going to give them a testimonial, or we're going to give this vendor a case study. Let me get a 10% discount on the project. Who knows? So understand the approval process within the company that you're asking a testimonial from, and that will help you plan for that ahead of time. Now, if you're working with a small business, a lot of times mid-sized businesses, and if you're working with the owner or the co-founder, I think you won't have this whole process of approvals. But the larger the company, that as you go into the enterprise world, you'll have to be aware of these approval steps you have to go through. All right. So with that in mind, there are a couple of things I want to share before here we wrap up. One is I want to share with you a template for a case study. And you can combine some of the sections I have, but I think it's a very good template, and we'll have a link to it in the description so you can download it and then customize it for your own needs. But basically, we'll pull this here on the screen. It's, you're telling a story of transformation and success. You are capturing the challenges, the solutions. Here's the problem. Here's the background. Here's the problem. Here are the challenges. Here's our approach. Here are the results. That's basically. So if you see here on the screen, and maybe we can make the gist. Yeah. Start with a title. Again, punchy, captivating title. And then some background and the goal, like client goals. And then your approach as a service provider, how you and the client worked to solve this challenge, and list those challenges, and then list the solution, and then the results. And again, the more tangible the results, the better. And obviously, if you have a quote, if you have some visuals, maybe you can show a graph, or you can just not a nice quote from the CEO or the CMO or the CFO. All of that will make this asset a whole lot more credible. So again, we'll make a copy of this case study. And for those of you who are listening in, not watching the screen, again, email us if you remember later and you're not sure where to find this. Just email us at info@startupwithfaris, and we will send you a link to this case study template, and you can make your own copy and start using it, which I'll cover here in a little bit on how to maximize the return on this investment, because it take a little bit of time to come up with a very engaging, compelling case study for the services that you offer. All right. So that's on the template. Now, in terms of a couple of things I want to cover here, like how to get them, how to use them, how to make sure your clients are aware of them, and how this whole process will help you convert more leads. So you gotta, I think of these as tips from the trenches. So one thing is asking at the right time. If, let's say, you've worked with a client, you've just completed the project, they're happy with you, and then you move on, you get busy, they get busy, come back a year later, they're not going to remember. The person you had worked with might have been reassigned or left the company. So the best thing to do is ask for a case study immediately after the completion of a successful project. Definitely not before, because people want to see they want to see what you've done. They want to see that you delivered on your promises, right? You sold them something, you delivered on that. They're happy. They're seeing the business benefit. So right after the successful completion of a project, this is a good time to ask for a testimonial or a case study. Ideally, which is the second point, you have set the expectations that you will be asking for that. So maybe you can when you're negotiating the agreement and they're asking for a discount, when the customer is asking for a discount, maybe they're asking for 10%, give them a 5% discount and say, if you help us develop a case study at the end of this project, we'll give you this additional 5%, right? So use that. Again, you have to be professional about it, be classy about it. Say, would love, show them the benefit, would love, said, we won't ask you for this until you're 100% satisfied with our work, and then would love to share the success that we've created together as a team. So again, be very professional, very polite. Show them what's in it for them in asking for this. So, and you'll run across people who just don't want to do it. Some people will be all over it, and some people, some clients, just they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to. First of all, I don't know why. They don't get marketing, because people who get marketing, they see the value of case studies, and they'll be all over them as well, because you're promoting their brand, and there's a benefit to them for that. But just some clients will not agree to it. If you work with governmental agencies like we did in a couple of our businesses, public endorsements are big no-no. So just be aware of that. So in some industries, you're not going to be able to get it. But then you can do on your own. As I said, you can do a non-branded testimonial or a non-branded case study. Let's see. The other thing to keep in mind here. So we talked about asking at the right time. We talked about setting expectations early on, and also finding advocates. So there are some, in my experience, there are people who understand how the game is played, and they want to be part of it, right? So marketing, it's about telling stories, right? They understand the value of stakeholders and of case studies, and these stakeholders, they want to be part of what you're creating. And typically, people who are involved in marketing, they do public speaking. They do. They're at conferences, they're active on social media. Typically, these are the people who are more likely to be part of this storytelling and part of developing case studies, and they'll be happy to maybe give you a testimonials. Others who are not out there marketing and networking, and then doing a lot of public facing activities, and they don't have those roles, you might have to do some more education on why this is important. You might have to do a whole lot more convincing, and sometimes people just are busy. I remember we finished a project a couple months ago, and we're working on this case study, following eating our own dog food here, following the same process. And I asked the customer was super happy, and I asked him, I said, hey, would you be willing to do a case study? And he said, sure. And I said, we will do all the work. We'll have you review it. We'll even give you some ideas for a quote you might want to give, but then you just review it. There's no work on your part. And then his response was, said, hey, Ferris, I'm happy to do it as long as there's nothing for me to do. He's busy. I don't blame him. So that's, that just assure people that you'll do all the work. They'll just have to review it. Few customers might be, especially if it's a larger company and they have a marketing team, they might want to have more say in how things are written and how things are developed. So sometimes they would actually say, we want to work on it with you. But in most cases, just tell them that you'll do all the work. And if you don't know how to write case studies, find a copywriter. Go on any of these marketplaces, Fiverr or Upwork or any of them, and find someone who can help you write it well. Don't just, if you're not good at writing, get some help. You still have to provide the technical stuff, the concrete result, or the results that you were able to achieve, the details, the technical details of the case study, of the problem we've solved. But in terms of the packaging and writing that content, get help from someone who writes well. In terms of, another thing to keep in mind is to highlight metrics. I've been saying this throughout, is something like increased revenue by 20%, reduced cost by 15%, increased efficiency, reduced waste, but show something that is measurable, that is quantifiable, that's quantified and mentioned. That just these case studies become much more powerful when people can see a brand, a recognizable brand, and a percent improvement, a double-digit percent improvement. That actually, it could help you attract a whole lot more leads, and it definitely will make you stand out against the competition. So stand out from the competition. So that's in terms of the metrics. We talked about simplifying the process. It's really important that you do all the heavy lifting. That just say people don't have time. And then at times you could collaborate with partners. So let's say you have a technology partner. Let's say, and I remember in one of our couple of our businesses, we were Google certified partners. So we'd actually have our customer, we would bring Google as well because they were providing the technology, and it'll be a co-branded case study. So Google, the customer, and us. I'm telling you, these case studies were gold because first, it's a real thing, a customer with problems, challenges, solutions, and quantifiable results. And then you had the Google logo on these case studies, and then you had our name. So it just does magic to your brand. And we use this in everywhere we went, whether we had a trade show, whether we on our website, on social media. At the time, actually, Google listed, also marketed those co-branded case studies as well. So it generated a whole lot of awareness. So to the extent that you have a technology partner or a larger company that is part of the solution you provided, see if you can do a co-branded case study with you, the other company, the technology partner, or the supplier, and and the customer. And of course, the last thing here is um, legal considerations. You want to make sure that the client is okay with you sharing what you are about to share. So again, I think it becomes a bigger item here for you to solve. The bigger the company, the more you go from mid-size to enterprise, the more of these considerations you have to keep in mind. They might, again, the marketing department will want to have a say. The legal department will want to have a say, and then there might be other stakeholders within that company that will review this before it's published. I know it's a lot of time, and maybe there's a lot of elapsed time between starting and finishing. It might take you 20 hours to do this over a span of 3 to 4 months, just because of all these cycles. But it is worth the investment. You'll get an amazing ROI. It just creates a new level of awareness and credibility for you that it's hard to get otherwise. So keep that in mind, the legal considerations. And sometimes, before we conclude here, I mean, anytime you're asking the client something, and I guess in life in general, when you're asking for something, think of what's in it for them, for the other party. We know what's in it for you. You'll have a case study, a branded case study. It'll help you get more business. But also with customers, let them know that, hey, when you as a company, you're highlighted in this case study, it also shows that you are maybe a cutting edge um, company among your peer. Maybe it'll show that you are an industry leader. It shows that you're running your business efficiently, effectively. So there is something for the company themselves. So try to highlight what's in it for the individual who will be participating, maybe quoted in the case study, and also what's in it for that company is not just about me. All right. So to conclude here, case studies and testimonials can boost conversions. They can help you turn these qualified leads into customers, and they will definitely build credibility and trust when you use them strategically. And you can use them again on your website, on your LinkedIn profile. Um, you can have if you're active on social media, you can turn these into, maybe you can have if you do into video production, you can do a video on these. You can actually have the case study or the testimonial done by your clients in the form of a video. So there's just different ways to highlight, to promote, to generate more awareness about these case studies. So use any platform you're active on. Find a way for you to promote and share that case study on that platform. Okay, doke. So, also, and when you are pitching, whether it's an informal, whether it's an informal pitch when you're speaking with someone, maybe at the gym or at a chamber of commerce event, at a conference, find a way. Once you understand, once you listen to maybe the problems that they have, or maybe the industry they're in, definitely um, mention that. Hey, yeah, mention those case studies. Like, yeah, we just helped. If someone, let's say you're talking to someone who is in healthcare, just let them know that you just helped another provider and you have a case study on it, and hey, you'll email that to them after the conference. So you talk about how you transformed the operations of this company, how you've helped the bottom line, how you introduced efficiencies in their processes. uh, People crave to hear about this stuff. It just gives you a whole lot more credibility. So bottom line, use these case studies, these testimonials across all the channels, online, offline, website, social media, and just make them front and center, even in your formal pitches, informal pitches, and formal pitches. And if you're doing a slide presentation, make sure you make mention of these testimonials. So that is it for today. We talked about case studies, about testimonials, how to get them, how to use them, how to make it easy for the clients to give you these testimonials and case studies. And we shared a template that you can download, make a copy of that, and then start producing your own case studies and close more deals. So before we wrap up, a reminder: if you're liking this content, go to at Startup with Ferris on YouTube, and Ferris is spelled Feras, like my first name, and subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe. This way you are updated on all the video, all the content that we are producing for you, for the entrepreneur. And then check out at blackbeltstartup.com. This is our training and coaching program. It's a complete curriculum, from having an idea and how to vet it, to setting up your business plan, to think of partnerships, finance, legal, accounting, sales, marketing, hiring, every pillar, every aspect of setting, starting, and growing a business. We have a full course on that. And then we also, once you sign up, there's a free course you can complete in an hour. And then we also have a paid membership. And this whole program is built on these time-tested principles in business and in martial arts, given my background in Aikido. And it's all about this disciplined mindset and this deliberate practice. That's what I emphasize throughout our course, throughout our in our business hours. When you have questions, when you have challenges, you have access to my recommendations through the weekly business hours. And it is month to month, no yearly commitment, and money back guaranteed. If you don't like what you're getting, let us know. We'll refund your month, that 1 month membership. And we have a discount, we have a promotion running through the end of the year. The code is EOY, end of year, EOY 2024. It's $100 discount for the first 3 months of the program. And it is, so that makes it, with the promotion, $399 a month. So check it out, blackbeltstartup.com. Let us know if you have any questions. And again, if you're running into any challenges in your business, email me, direct message me. I do offer these free sessions, 20-minute session, to everyone and anyone. We have a few slots every week. This is my way of giving back to the community, because a lot of people helped me along the way. So if you have a question, you're struggling, you want to start a business and you don't know how to start, and you're not sure if your idea is a great one, or if you started and you're struggling, or you're not growing at the pace that you want, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. That is it for today. Thank you so much, and see you next time.